The first time that I spoke, I told you guys about for a personal topic, I kind of did a timeline. And in that timeline, I mentioned that I was arrested for murder.
That's what I was just thinking about.
And then I mentioned my motorcycle accident. And you guys picked the murder as the next personal one that I spoke about. And so this time I'm going to tell you a little bit about the motorcycle accident.
I missed the murder day.
Yeah.
You did. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
And by the way, the mustache, I did shave this after the Galleria meeting, by the way. It was for a Halloween party last weekend.
That's cute.
And then I'm going to a vampire ball, so I'm going to clean it up for that this Saturday. So I'll be the same costume, but with vampire teeth. But instead of just telling you about the motorcycle accident, I had a concussion, but I've had 11 concussions in my life. So I'm going to do like a rundown of those. So that kind of give you a little bit to know more about me too than just one accident. My first concussion was I was in middle school, and I loved climbing trees, and we had a cottonwood tree in our backyard. Right in the middle of the backyard is a big, huge, fully grown cottonwood tree, and I could jump up and climb up it in seconds. And a couple of my dad's friends were over, and they were barbecuing and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, show them how quick you can climb up that tree." I jumped for the first branch, which is a nice big one, and I went, and I'd climbed up this thing so many times, and right when I grabbed the branch and pulled up, as soon as I got my chin to like right here and I'm about to go up, the branch broke off of the tree and the whole thing went down, and I went backwards head first and woke up to my neighbor Eddie cracking a smelling salt in my nose. And if you've never smelt one of those, what it feels like, your brain is a muscle and it literally tweaks in your head and you feel it. It's like, whoa. And it wakes you up and you feel like, why did my brain move like that? So that was my first concussion. My second concussion was I had a dirt bike, and I was crazy on it. I liked riding crazy. My grandma used to like watching me ride after school, even though I wasn't allowed to ride until my dad got home, because that's how dumb I was. And he was smart. And so I was drifting a corner on my 125 at probably 11 years old, barely touched the ground on it, but I could drift it. And I high-sided, went flying through the air. The bike landed on top of me. I learned at my sister's wedding 15 years ago or so, I learned that when my grandma came to me and took the motorcycle, because my bike landed on me and the exhaust was on my leg and it was burning my leg, I came out of that concussion to the smell of flesh burning. So she took the bike off. I learned at my sister's wedding that she broke her pinky, and she showed me her pinky was crooked, and she never told anybody about it, including my dad, because she didn't want to be in trouble for letting me ride the bike, or me be in trouble for letting me ride the bike. So we hid the burn from him, and she hid the pinky from me and him.
So the bike was okay?
If it wasn't okay, I fixed it. It wasn't that kind of, yeah.
I mean, I've ridden bikes, so I think that's important.
Right.
Then shortly after that, I was really into BMX too. And I had built near the school on my ride to school for a shortcut, I had built a little dirt jump that I jump over the fence and did it every day. I would go down off the levee road and give me the speed. I go across the street and there was my little personal jump that would go over a fence that would take me right into the school. And many people had seen me do this randomly. And at school, a bunch of people had talked about, there's no way John can jump over that fence. And so in front of everybody, because now it's like an event, people are like coming out after school to see me do it because so many people said, no way, and whatever. I was just showing a bunch of people. And for some reason, I thought I could do it without going all the way to the top of the hill, and thought I could pump up enough speed, and I didn't. And my back tire caught on the fence, and I went over hardcore, ripped my pants open, ripped my leg open, not stitches wide, but bad cuts, and landed on my head and concussion.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see football. The next concussion was in football practice. Dave Huckabee, 6'4" now, and probably 260 pounds now. I don't remember what he was back then, but way bigger than me. And recently told me that he probably hit me harder than anybody else because losing to me was way worse because I was so much smaller. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And he apologized about the concussion. But we had a head-on concussion. I had a head-on with him, and I came into a concussion there. And that one was smelling salts also. Those are the only two smelling salt ones. The rest of them, no, I have one more smelling salt one. Next one is karate. I did a year and a half of Shotokan, and my sensei accidentally kicked me in the face straight on with a spinning back kick, and I took it. I saw it when it was there, and it kicked me right out of the box, and that was a concussion. Then the next one is skateboard. I took a skateboard to the face. I was at a pool hall waiting with 4 of my friends. I'm making these stories, some of them a lot shorter than they could be. I was at a pool hall with my friends waiting to meet some girls to go to a party. These guys came and said, hey, this isn't your territory, you can't be here. I was like, we live down the street. They're like, well, all right, we'll leave. So we tried leaving, but they didn't let us leave. They attacked us. They literally just jumped us in the parking lot. And I saw my friend Dave was about to get hit with a skateboard, so I tackled the guy with a skateboard. And so I'm wrestling with him, and while I was wrestling with that guy, I see a skateboard. By the time I saw it, it was right here. And that was another concussion. I woke up to that one being kicked by a bunch of people. And thank God for the police sirens that stopped them from getting us. Next one's a BMX. This was a smelling salt one. I was a really fast taker-offer. Like in BMX, I'd be the first person off the gate just because I was really strong, but I had to get in front, which is a really bad style of racing. You don't want to be that guy. I didn't know that at the time. I was a dumb kid. But you don't want to be the guy that has to get in front, and then basically you're a jerk the rest of the race because you're just not letting people pass you. So just absorbing the whole track with your muscle. And so that's how I won races. And I got to a final race. This is the final race in Reno for a national. And it's the last race, so everybody really wants to win. And I took the very first berm really high, and a guy cut the apex cut early to try to cut the corner. Well, here I come full speed into a set of doubles, and he hit me where I was going into it. So I went into the doubles crooked. So basically I took the jump as fast as you need to be taking it to jump, but I took it crooked, so there was nothing to land on. So I basically go up, and as I'm doing to come down, there's nothing. And so I pushed my bike so that my thought was I don't want to be with my bike anymore because I don't want it to land on it, you know what I mean? So I pushed it back, and I went to turn this way. I cracked my collarbone. I broke my, what's it called when you dislocate your jaw? TM, whatever. I dislocated my jaw. I cracked my jaw, but it didn't break all the way through. I broke a tooth, and I bounced this high off of the ground. When I came to on that one, they had woken me up with the smelling salts, but I didn't realize it. I jumped up, this is on video, I jumped up, grabbed my bike, and was looking for which direction I was supposed to go in. And they're like, dude, the race is over. Yeah. Oh, Loft. I actually forgot what this was for a second. I was climbing into my barn, and I was on a ladder. I stepped onto as I was making the step onto the loft, the ladder slipped out from underneath me. I went to grab the deck, but it's just like an old, dusty, flat, nothing to grab onto. So I hit it with my hands. it went flying backwards. So I spun around this way. Thank God the ladder caught me by my leg as I was going down. The ladder kind of got halfway, whatever, stuck. And it caught me by my leg, but then I woke up to that one with my face flat on the concrete ground, drool like this far away from me that I could see before I'd even moved. So I'm like, I've been here for a while. And looked up, my leg was still caught in the ladder. I was hanging from the ladder with just my face down. And it took some time to get myself together and to figure out what was going, I had to push myself up and out and get my leg out of the thing. I came in, walked into the house, and my wife's yelling at me like, "Where are you? I've been calling you." And I couldn't even talk to her. I just sat in the couch, just laid down. And then she came around the corner and just screamed. Like, so that's it.
Kind of like a cat.
11, supposedly. I'm going in order of what I got here. So this is the big one, is a motorcycle accident. June 10th, 2005. I was going to a networking group meeting.
So all the others weren't big?
When you hear this one,
This one's big.
I'm going to a networking group, 7 o'clock in the morning. I met every Friday meetings for a networking group for years.
I did that.
You did that one with Jack and all those guys?
No, I met at movies, yeah.
And anyways, 2005, I'd been doing that since 2000. I was 5 years into that group. And I pulled out of my driveway on my motorcycle. My neighbor pulled out in front of me, he was about to pull out, and I kind of passed him, went around, waved to my neighbor. He's going fishing somewhere, the direction I was going, with his son and his fishing boat. Then I pulled up behind a small blue pickup. By the way, I used to go 100 to 130 miles an hour on my motorcycle almost every day. The day before, and not around anybody. If I was going 100 miles, if I was going even over the speed limit by more than 10%, there was nobody around if I was speeding. I only would endanger my own life. I never would endanger anybody else's life. But I lived on Baseline Road, and nobody was ever on Baseline Road back then. You could go 100 miles an hour all the way to Roseville and never pass another car in the other direction, very rarely. And when another car would come, I would slow down, pass it at the legalish speed, and then go on my way. The night before, I had ran into Wild Bill on Vernon Street, and he had realized I was a motorcycle rider. He'd never seen my motorcycle before. I had the sickest motorcycle you could have. And he gave me a big old speech about how it's not you, it's everybody else, be careful. A big old slow down speech, even though he didn't know that I rode fast. I think just by my bike and what I was wearing, he just assumed I rode fast. And he gave me a big old, I'd had this speech many times. But it came from Bill, so all right, maybe a sign out there, I'll slow down. So I drove super slow all the way home, and now I'm driving slow going there. And so not that I regret it, but if I had been riding like my normal person, I wouldn't have been there when a construction vehicle lost its load and a Yukon behind it swerved to miss the load, then saw that I was there, and then jerked the wheel back. So basically what I was given was a Yukon sliding sideways and backwards towards me through my lane, blocking completely the whole lane and nowhere to go. And I was going about 70 miles an hour. And so I dumped my bike to the side, I was on the right side of the lane, not on the line, but where your car's right tire would be. So there was no time to brake, and there was no time to stop. So I dumped my bike to the right to get as much angle as I could to push off. And my idea was to try to clear that front part of the truck where the window and the hood are. And I was just try to get over that because it was coming so fast and it was going that direction. So I tried to go that direction, and over. I didn't make it. I went into the driver's window.
Oh my God.
My helmet hit her head, the driver's head. I broke her skull, cracked her skull, broke her neck. I then came out of, my body got caught on the door, like on this way, the windows here. And then I went up. My neighbor behind me said that I went about 15 to 20 feet up in the air, like a rag doll, just flying through the air. I landed in the opposite side lane. The car behind her kind of ran me over a little bit, just the front of it. They just backed off, you know. And I was like a mess, like a mangled mess on the ground. I had broken my arms and legs as bad as you can break them. That's the definition. As bad as you can break them. Like they said, every bone in my arms and legs as bad as you can. No head injuries, no back injuries, no neck injuries somehow. And I've got metal all over the place. I've got cadavers. I lost my spleen. I could make this story a book. You know, obviously I'm making it pretty short. I lost the bottom half of my kidneys. And then I lost the strength that I ever had. You know, I'll never be as strong as or even close to as strong as I used to be. But that's the major things I lost. And that's making that story really fast. I have two more. Then snowboarding. These aren't going to compare, like nothing. But I have one after that, snowboarding. I was told I would never snowboard again or hardly do anything again. But I snowboard with a leg brace on, a $2,200 carbon fiber leg brace. And I got a concussion snowboarding. I was... Well, see,
ever again, like
I've been told that I used to be a risk taker. This is all mostly by my sister. And that's how I deal with life. Like that's how I need adrenaline. And she said, I see now how you've switched that since your motorcycle accident. Now you're a business risk taker. You take too big of risks in business, and that's your way of coping with life or whatever, you know. So, and then I got hit in the back of the head with this phone book. That was my last two.
That is insane.
God has plans for you.
Yes,
sir.
he does.
He is not-
That's what people say, but I don't know what that plan is. I don't know.
You're here, yeah, you're meant to be here for sure.
Crash test running.
Holy crap.
It could be that your purpose is to be a lesson to some of us. Wow.
Well, I mean, some of those I was being dumb, but some of those, there was like nothing I could have done about it, you know? And so even the ones that are the nothing I could have done about it ones, I still have a lot of concussions for the average person without the risk taking and stuff.